What's going on, guys? Welcome back to HVAC Tool Review. Today we're talking about something a little bit different. Let's call it Tech Tip Tuesday or Tech Tool Tip. It doesn't matter, whatever you want to call it. We're talking about magnetic nut drivers and when those things get all full of metal shavings and how to clean those up. So as you can see with this one here, kind of shows this one is completely clogged with stuff. So I'm going to show you a couple ways to get that stuff out of there. Having a bit or a nut driver that's completely full of crap is probably one of the most frustrating things ever, when you can't get a good grip on that hex head and you start rounding out those edges, or you can't get it at all. Super frustrating. I know everyone's experienced that, and it can be a pain to get these things cleaned up. So I know everyone's sitting there trying to bang, knock it out, but that never gets anything out. Everything's still stuck in this thing. So tip number one, it's plumber's putty. This is probably the least effective way, but if you've already got this on the truck and it's the only thing you got, it's better than nothing. It'll clean it out enough to get the job done. So I'll go ahead and demonstrate that for you here. So you got your tip. It's full of all these metal shavings. Just go ahead and work some of that putty in there. And it works best to have maybe like a little control screwdriver or a pick to help get the rest of the crap out of there. So you got your putty all worked in there with all the metal shavings. If you can get a little screwdriver and start pulling all this stuff out of there, you can see a lot of the metal shavings start coming with it. So like I said, this is probably the least effective method we're going to talk about today, but if you're in a pinch and this is all you got, it's better than nothing. So yeah, this can be a little bit tedious trying to clean up all that putty and these shavings out of there, but this is what you got on hand. It'll get the job done. So I don't know if you can try and get a clear video of this. Here's the putty. You got the putty here. There's obviously quite a bit of shavings that we pulled out of there. And then here is the nut driver. So it's not perfect, but as you can tell, we got a lot of it out of there. All right, now that we got the plumber's putty all cleaned up out of there, we've got some fresh metal shavings here. We're gonna go ahead and fill this thing back up. Oh, now we just dropped half of them. All right, well, now that we got this nice and full of shavings, hopefully the camera is picking that up there. Go ahead and go with tip number two. So for this one, I like to make sure that you've got a proper set of eyewear, goggles preferably, because the metal shavings do go flying. So I like to throw on some goggles, or at least be smart about it. But if you got an air nozzle that fits right in there, and hopefully that picks it up there and we're nice and clean. Does a great job of blowing all the shavings out of there, and it's almost good as new. All right, now we'll get this thing filled back up with a bunch of metal shavings. Got them in there. Mix it up nice and good. Get it down in all the crevices. So as you can see, that thing's packed again. So for tip number three, I like to use some kind of caulking adhesive. Just fill this thing up. And I'll mix it around in there a little bit with a pick or a screwdriver or something like that. And this also works really well with a hot glue gun. It's a little bit quicker on the hot glue gun, but typically don't have a hot glue gun that's out of my truck. So the faster the cure time, the little bit better that this works. So I get it all mixed up in there, kind of give it a few minutes, let that stuff cure, and then I can usually just pry it out as one solid piece. All right, give that about 5 minutes to cure there. So then once that starts curing up, we're able to just go through and start picking this stuff out. So once you dig everything out of these little crevices here, you can see that we took a ton of it out there. Hopefully the camera's focusing again. But we took out quite a bit there. It's not perfect in here, but if you're out in the field, you don't have access to a air compressor to blow this thing out. This is probably my favorite option. The putty never really seems to cure hard enough to get it out of there, but a hot glue gun works great. If you have some really fast curing silicone, it gets the job done and gets you out of a pinch. So yeah, there you have it, guys. That's how I typically get these things cleaned out, especially when I'm out in the field, don't have access to an air compressor. That's usually my go-to, is throwing a little silicone in there and get that magnet cleaned up. But hopefully that's helpful to someone. If you've got other tips and tricks on cleaning out your magnetic nut drivers, let us know. Drop a comment below, and I appreciate you checking it out. See you guys next time.